fashion retailer. I'm currently in Dallas, Texas, but I normally work at, or sorry, not normally. I will be going to Seattle next week. For anyone that's not aware, this is a live stream I do every, usually Thursday morning and Friday evening. Occasionally I miss it, although I do hope to get a bit more consistent with it. But I do this in order to answer any of y'all's questions. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So I see we have a question by Ope Joseph. Hello, Shashank. I need a job or volunteer to gain more experience in data analysis. I've applied to a lot of companies, but no one's calling me up. How do I go about this? My link below. Okay, so you can't send links on YouTube Live, and unfortunately, they won't even let me approve people's links, which is kind of annoying, honestly. I understand why they won't just allow you to send links in, but it is a bit annoying that I can't even approve the sending of links. Whoops, lights off. But yeah, so if you need more experience in data analysis, do you have a project per se? One second, guys. Do you have a project per se that you can show off on your GitHub and slash, or do you have have you checked on your resume to make sure that it's in a format that's going to get you interviews? And what would you say the problem is in your process? Are you getting interviews, or are you yeah, no one's calling you, right? So I guess you're not getting interviews. So if no one's calling you, that means your resume is the most likely culprit. And you need to find a way to beef that up. I know I keep promising a resume video, but if you watch the video I most recently released I did one with Nick Singh. It is, it has a lot of great tips on how you can improve your resume as well. So towards the beginning of the video, we have some tips on improving your resume, and I'm going to see about making a resume video sometime this weekend. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see if I get to it. All right, we have a couple more people coming in. Let's see if there are any questions that pop up. All right, so CF Garcia, what do we have here? Hi, Shashank. Hope all is good. I am trying to automate an Excel report using Python, but seem to be stuck, to be honest. What do you do when you get stuck when coding a solution, or what is your thought process? Yes, so I guess it means on what do you mean by you're getting stuck? Because there are a couple of ways you can get stuck, right? One way to get stuck is you create this big workflow, and it ends up not outputting the result you want. That's one way of getting stuck. So when you say you're getting stuck, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean it's not doing what you expect it to do, or is it something else? What does getting stuck mean? Do you mind if I turn on the light, or do you mind if I turn on the light, or is it gonna? Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, so CF Garcia, what does getting stuck mean in this context? So today I was working through a problem where the data was not matching the result we were expecting, and really it just became a matter of, oh, okay, cool. Really, it just became a matter of actually going step by step of the process, which is why I like to use Jupyter notebooks, because you can run code cells step by step, and then seeing where the expected result deviated from the actual result, and then tackling that section of the code over there. So there are a couple of ways you can tackle code not doing what you wanted to do, but if you're talking about data accuracy, that's really the only way to do it. It's just to go line by line almost, or logical section by logical section. Hey, Adamola Adikilikun, can you explain bias and variance in simple words? Oh man, I wish I had my notes on me. Did you watch I believe it was my chapter 2 practical statistics for data scientist tutorial? I believe I have it in there. So bias is basically when an algorithm of some kind, so you have an algorithm that is modeling some kind of behavior, right? So let's say you're trying to predict sales for your store in the next year or so, right? Bias refers, no, that's not the best example. Oh, here's an excellent example. Yeah, if you train a lot of your data on, or if you train your model on a lot of data that has certain similarities within it, then your algorithm might be biased to thinking everything belongs to a certain group when it actually doesn't necessarily. It was just trained on a very small set of data. Variance is a little bit easier to explain. Basically, it refers to any deviations in normal data that we are not necessarily expecting. And variance is really good because that's really where all of the information in a data set is actually housed. If you're trying to actually like create a model, right? Like the variance is where you'll find the most information in your model. Or sorry, the variance where you'll find the most information to like train your model because you want to see how like A and B relate to each other, but also relate to C, D, E, and F. Each of these being features one after another. I don't think that was the best explanation, but if I have some notes on it, I'll be sure to look them up and make sure I'm better prepared next time. Okay, Max Flork. Hey, Shashank, hope all is well. Do you think that taking relevant courses, Tableau, SQL, Excel, Python, and creating portfolio projects is enough to replace having internship with a previous experience? Yeah, I think so. The thing is, if you don't have previous experience, I mean, you just don't have it. Like you have to just go ahead and figure it out from there. And I think that portfolios and stuff are a great way of getting that first job that you need. And they're good if you want to like like skip a level in going for the next job. So for example, say you're like a data analyst and you want to become a senior data analyst, but like the work you're doing in your previous company doesn't necessarily behoove you to being promoted into that level. That's where you might want to do a portfolio project to convince people, hey, he actually has like senior data analyst skills. So that's what I would recommend, and that's normally the process I tell people to go through. I have a video on Python, Tableau, SQL, and basic statistics on my channel that will teach you all the basics you need to know to just like basically get started. And once you go through that, then I would highly recommend going and building out some projects on your GitHub with something that you're really interested in, and from there going ahead and applying to jobs. That way you have something to show during a hiring manager interview. Hey, the fighter jet, great to see you. Let's see. How can I direct my projects to have value that would be useful to employers? I have no experience, so I can't show that I have had an impact and any kind of success in the past. So I actually had an interview with Nick Singh. It's like my last. It's like a last. It was like my last video, I believe. Basically, how to get a job in data science or data or as a data analyst. And in that, we kind of talk about how the best portfolio projects are really just things you're passionate in that you then market to be relevant to the company you're going to. So for example, the example he gave was he was really into hip hop artists at the time, so he created and he was a software developer, so he created an entire what do you call it? An entire website that would let you basically like bet money or not real money, but like bet like kind of like on the stock market on like the popular future popularity of like different like hip hop artists, and he got like 2,000 hits in a month at one point in time, right? So it wasn't a tiny website; it was definitely getting some traffic. And what happened was he like kind of like changed the narrative on that. You look at that and you're like, how do you convince someone you got a job at Facebook? How do you convince someone at Facebook to let you in? And he kind of like flipped the narrative on that and said, oh hey, this isn't just like me messing around with like rap music. This is like me like I like growth engineered my website to like get to like you know um 2000 consecutive or not consecutive 2000 monthly hits at a time. And he got onto Facebook's growth engineering team. I'm sure his like university and everything helped him with that as well, but at the end of the day, a good profile project is really like something you want to do, and you should be able to kind of like talk like kind of flip the script on the or not flip the script, but kind of like twist the script in such a way that it seems relevant to whatever company you're going for. That's what I would recommend. I don't like to give profile project or a portfolio project ideas because that's probably the worst portfolio project you can do. It's like one that like where someone tells you what to do, because what happens is you get into a situation that I've seen on more than one occasion where someone comes to me like for an interview, like because I do interviews at my company, and they're using a data set, usually the Titanic data set, that I'm like, I've seen this before, and like I am not even confident this is even your code. I even had someone actually email me the other day saying that they wanted to use my SurveyMonkey tutorial video, like the code I made for that, as their portfolio project. And I'm like, I mean, I don't mind if you copy my code, but like, you can't copy that and then like say you have any skills, that you didn't demonstrate any skills doing that. So I would probably tell, if when I respond to the person, I'll probably say like, hey, I mean, you do you. I'm not gonna, I the code is free to use. But if I ever found out if I ever like found out during the interviewing process that like someone had literally just copied and pasted the entire project from somewhere else, or did like almost no changes, then I wouldn't take anything they said seriously, honestly. Because at worst it's lazy, at best it's not creative. So let's see, Dave World. Hey Shawshank. Hey Dave World. How can I build a better and good portfolio? I would recommend one or two projects. People talk about like having 5 projects and stuff. I think after you pass 2 projects, you're just doing work for the sake of doing work. Have one, maybe 2 projects, depending on the size of them. You might have like a very small project, which is why you might want to do two, like just a small visualization project and like a bigger one. So have 2 projects. Have the portfolio linked with a short link on your resume, and make sure that it is. Like when someone looks at your README, you have a README on your GitHub, that the entire project is explained in like 2 sentences, basically. You should be able to communicate all that in like 2 sentences. Um, and those are some tips over there. Like when someone looks at your project, because people don't even look at projects, you can have to show it to them. But if they look at your project, they need to get immediately what like you're even talking about. The ultimate way, start my first data analyst job on Monday. Thanks to you, Shashank, making the switch from engineering. Hey, well, thank you so much. I'm the best messages I receive are the ones where it's like, yo, I got like my first job. At the end of the day, that's what this whole channel is about. It's about people getting jobs. And I am really glad you were able to get one. Where, what, where are you working out of? What city or what country are you working out of? Luke Singh. Hi, I wanted to say that you have amazing video. Thanks for all your tutorials. Yeah, of course, man. It's I am glad to make them, and I am glad people find them useful. Yes, everyone wished the ultimate way. Congratulations! It's a really big deal when someone gets a job, especially switching from a different industry like you did. Uber person. What industries need the most data analysts at this time? If you know, for example, automotive, social media, health. I would say probably. Ooh, that's a tough one. Retail's a really big one. I'm definitely biased because I work retail, but I would say retail needs a lot of data analysts. Anything technology companies need all kinds of data analysts. Finance is a really big one. Um, if I think of any others over the course of this, what do you call this live stream, I'll be sure to tell you guys. Pranjal Rautan. What are the most basic required skills to start into entry-level jobs? So Pranjal, what type of jobs are you talking about? Are you talking about data analyst, data science? You got to be more specific. Sonal Mathur. For people just starting out, what is the best way to practice things like R, Python, and SQL with real data like you would in real business solutions? I would say go onto Kaggle and just start messing around with some of the data sets. Like if you don't know what to do, go look at some of the notebooks that are attached to the data sets over there. You'll see people are doing all kinds of like great EDA, exploratory data analysis on the data. So they don't even like participate in the competition. They're just like doing EDA for the heck of it. Um, and I would highly recommend checking what they do out, and that'll give you a good idea of like how to like build up some of the skills for business. SQL is a little bit of a more difficult one because honestly, like you can't really practice SQL without a SQL database. But if you want to practice R and Python Python and well, actually, frankly, R and SQL specifically, I have a free SQL course on my channel. I have a free Python course on my channel, and I have a bunch of videos where I'm cleaning up data using Python on my channel, which you can use R or Python to clean up, or you could even load the data into a database like SQLite and use that to clean it up if you want to as well. Um, those are a couple of ideas for you. Abhiral Sharma. Hey, Shashank, hope you're doing great. I am. I hope you're doing well too. As a fresher, do you think I should learn data structures and algorithms along with machine learning to get a job in data science? Okay. Data structures and algorithms, I mean, you need to know like the basic ones to like, I mean, just to code, quite honestly. When people say DSNA, right, like data structures and algorithms, and they're talking about algorithms, they're kind of talking about the stuff that like computer scientists use, which is like you quite frankly don't use like algorithms are not really something you use as a data analyst or a data scientist. Like you use a completely different set of algorithms. You use like machine learning algorithms. But like when people say DSNA, they're kind of talking about like can you like reverse a linked list and like all these other like tricks that like a software engineer would use that like it's just not useful to a data scientist, quite honestly. So data structures, you kind of just have to know that because that like you need to know that to code, in my opinion. Not at the deepest level, but like to some, like you need to know what like dictionaries and like lists and stuff are and how to operate those well. Um, Algorithms, I know some basic ones just for um, just for like quality of life purposes. But I would say, like, as a data scientist or data analyst, you need to learn things like data manipulation. That's a lot more important. How do you manipulate large amounts of data? How do you manipulate small amounts of data? How do you use pandas if you're using Python, or how do you use tidyverse if you're using R? That's kind of like the algorithms version of what a data scientist or data analyst needs to know. Like software engineers have to know like data structures and algorithms. We need to know data structures and data manipulation. Um, Data manipulation is kind of like one of those things that like software engineers don't necessarily know how to do very well, but uh, a data analyst or data scientist should be able to, and vice versa. Algorithms are kind of the thing that like data scientists and data analysts don't necessarily know how to like operate, but computer scientists know how to, or software engineers know how to. So I would not focus too much on the algorithms part of it, to be fair. The fighter jet. Got it. I watched the video. I really enjoyed the part about using your project to showcase your personality, the showing, and not telling his favorite bit of advice right now. Yeah, of course, man. And I think, at the end of the day, that's kind of what an interview is. An interview is a place to like show your personality and show that you're a good fit for the company. And quite frankly, that the company is a good fit for you. I've been lucky enough not to interview at companies where I'm like, oh, I do not want to work here. But I've met people that are like, they've interviewed with companies and they're like, nah, man, like the interview was pretty bad. I didn't want to do it. Or I have a friend, she's looking for a job right now. And in the screening interview, like she wasn't sure how much they were offering. And I was like, hey, friend, you should just like, ask them what the salary band is. Cause I'm like, based on this job title, I can tell you that this job is paying less than six figures, which based on your education and everything, you should be paid more than that. And given that, I think you should just ask the question immediately. So I think an interview is a great opportunity for you to show off your personality, and projects are probably like the best way to do that. And they're also like a really great way to just like show that you actually like give a damn. The best example I like to give is like, so my brother like got a degree in industrial engineering, which is kind of like, like processes, like how do you make processes like run faster and everything. And then wanted to go into comp sci and software engineering. Didn't know how to code at all. Spent about 3 months learning how to code, and then did a project. He like built an iPhone app basically. And then at the interview, he was interviewing against another guy who had several years of experience. And then in the interview, he kind of just like whipped out his laptop and he's like, hey, check this out. Like, here's something I actually coded. And in that moment, I'm imagining what the interviewer was able to do, because I've been in a similar position myself, is that they were able to see where this guy fits into the organization. Okay, like I can see this guy knows what they're doing, because, when someone whips up their project and they start talking about it, it becomes very clear whether they know what they're talking about or not. Like within like 5 minutes, you can tell if someone knows what they're talking about. And that's kind of why I recommend doing your own project. Like when you have your own project or something you created yourself, there's a passion behind that creation. And that's why it's so important to do your own projects. All right, let's see what we got next. Devesh Malhotra. Hi there, miss your big data bowl stream. Do you have a recording, or are you going to do more in the future? So I'll be doing more in the Unfortunately, I had to take it down because my Wi-Fi connection was extremely bad. Like I watched it back after it was over, and I'm like, no one is like, this is so bad. No one's gonna be able to make heads or tails of this. Um, Unfortunately, the laptop I bought this like the Asus M16. I think that's the culprit, because I was like right next to the router and like it wasn't working well, and like everything else, like my MacBook and everything worked just fine. Um, so I'm guessing I'm going to have to get that laptop replaced, or replace the wireless card, or just go buy a MacBook and not worry about it. So yeah, I will definitely be doing another big data bowl stream. Maybe even next week. I move into my new apartment next week, and I made sure to get some good Wi-Fi over there. I'm excited. I'm moving next Friday, so I'm actually excited to stream me moving in to you guys, and give you guys a little bit of the lowdown on the lifestyle aspect of this YouTube channel, of which there is none so far. The ultimate way. I'll be working in London within the finance sector. Wait, congratulations, man! I was in London recently. That entire city is a huge finance sector. Amazing city. Absolutely loved it. The funniest thing, though, I don't think I've ever gone to a major city, like ever. Like I've gone to like Tokyo, Mexico City, like KL, all these places. I've never gone to a major city that where it's so difficult to find local food. Every other cuisine is available in London. The local food can be very difficult to find. Although I love jellied eels, I loved eels and liquor, as they like to call it, and I love liquor and pie. Very, very tasty. I kind of like British food, honestly. Like a little bit of hot sauce, and it'd be perfect. So plunge all route then for both data scientist and data analyst jobs. So your question was, what was the most basic skills required to get started into entry level jobs? Um, Honestly, depends on the job you're looking for, right? If I were you, I'd go to whatever job board is most popular in your region. So, for example, in America, LinkedIn Learning is a really big one here. Indeed's another big one, but I think LinkedIn Learning is more popular. I don't really know. I know it's what I use. And you can go ahead and just like see, okay, if I want to become a data analyst, like what skills do I need? The skills I recommend everyone builds are